Okay, so I was not able to tame it. In fact, it made it 10 times worse. So, yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. Okay. Libby and the class election. Chapter 5. Okay. Let's move a bit. Sorry, I've been having pain in my knee lately. Once in her peaceful room, Libby tried to distract herself, but she wasn't having an easy time of it. She refolded all of her already neat folded clothing, then pulled holobook after holobook off her shelves. But nothing kept her interest. She couldn't stop thinking about her ungracious reaction to Leona's news. She was about to call her best friend from home for a pep talk when her stars app beeped. She rolled over and picked it up, the familiar message making her heartbeat quicken. SD Wish Blossom identified. Wish Blossom? Blossom? The Wish Blossoms happen after the Wish missions. SD Wish Orb identified. Proceed to Lady Stella's office immediately. Libby jumped out of bed, shoved her feet into a pair of shoes, and headed out the door. Once outside, she discovered it was lightfall, the magical time of day when the sun began to disappear and everyone's glow was at its brightest. Starlings got an extra burst of energy at lightfall, whether it was from being surrounded by shimmering starlings or was a direct result of their own personal glow. Libby wasn't quite sure. Perhaps a combination of both. She breezed past a group. She breezed past groups of classmates chattering on the moving sidewalk as they returned from dinner. "Where are you going, Libby?" someone called. "Hey, where's the fire?" shouted another. Libby just laughed and waved. She could never explain to them what was going on. Imagine if she told them the truth. "Oh, it's no big deal. I'm on my way to Lady Stella's office. There's a 1 in 11 chance that I'm going to be on my way to Wishworld before you're even dressed tomorrow morning." Sorry. Anyway, by dodging around oncoming students, she soon caught up to her fellow Star Darlings, who were making their way to Halo Hall, where Lady Stella's office was located. Tessa was eating a cocoa moon. She took a big bite, the milky white iridescent juice running down her arm. Where were you, Rumi?" asked Gemma to Libby. Her voice sounded accusatory. For a brief second, Libby was fearful that Gemma somehow knew she had been unkind. But as Libby's pulse began to slow down, she realized she was overreacting. "Oh, I wasn't hungry," she said. "Well, that's crazy talk," said Tessa with a laugh, holding up the half-eaten cocoa moon. Libby fell into step with the group, grazing shoulders with Adora. Everyone was making small talk, not mentioning where they were headed, or what purpose, in case anyone was within earshot. But they couldn't help still. Eyes were darting, fingers were tapping. The nervous energy was palpable. They couldn't wait to find out who was going to Wishworld next. Sage turned around, and Libby was surprised to see that her eyes were flashing. Even she, who had been through this already and knew for certain that she could not be chosen, seemed to be filled with nervous excitement. The moving sidewalk took the girls straight to Halo Hall, and they headed up the stairs and inside, their feet echoing in the empty hallways as they walked past silent classrooms. They filed into Lady Stella's office. The headmistress sat behind her desk, her arms folded. She looked remarkably calm. Libby sat down at the round table, placing her hands on its cool silver surface. It calmed her down a bit. Oh my god. Sorry. A few Star Darlings stood, fidgeting nervously. Maybe they were too anxious to sit, or perhaps they wanted a head start when Lady Stella opened the door that led down the stairs to the Wish Cavern. Once everyone was settled, Lady Stella stood up. "Hello, my Star Darlings," she said. "As you are aware, one of you is about to be chosen for the second wish mission. A good wish orb is glowing, and it is especially suited to a particular student's strengths. Please don't be upset if you are not chosen today. You will each get your turn." The students all understood that. Still, Libby knew that they all feel exactly as she did. They wanted it to be theirs. Except perhaps Cassie, who looked slightly miserable. She had confessed to Libby as they sipped sparkle juice in the Lightning Lounge one evening that she wasn't in a rush to head down to Wishworld. She needed a little bit of time to get used to the idea. It was pretty clear to Libby that she had not yet. When do we go... wrong voice. When do we go down to the caves? Scarlet asked impatiently. Lady Stella smiled. Things are going to happen a little differently this time, she said. I have been informed by our wish watcher that we will not be going to the Star Darling's wish cavern this evening. The girls began to murmur. Not going to the wish cavern this time. The last time when Sage was chosen, Lady Stella had opened a hidden door in her office wall and a secret staircase. There's too many star things going on in this damn book. Staircase had been revealed. The girls had headed underground into the secret caves beneath the school. Lady Stella had led them to a secret door. When it opened, they found themselves in a beautiful wish house built just for them. But Lady Stella, said Vega, then how are we going to find out who the wish mission is intended for? The wish orb will come to you this time, Lady Stella said mysteriously. Please take a seat so we can begin. She gestured towards the large, round silver table that sat in her office. Once everyone was settled, Lady Stella continued. Now close your eyes, she said. When you open them, a wish orb will be floating in front of each of you. Everyone, that is, but Sage, since she already went on her mission. Sage nodded and smiled. A little sadly, Libby thought. Maybe she secretly hoped that to be able to go back down on another mission and do it Maybe she secretly hoped to be able to go back down again on another mission and do it perfectly this time. But only one is the true wish orb. The rest are just illusions and will disappear before your eyes. Libby looked around the table. Everyone's eyes were already closed, so she quickly squeezed hers shut too. Her stomach was dancing with flutter focuses. What if she was chosen? Then again, what if she wasn't? The wait seemed interminable. Finally, she heard Lady Stella say, "Open your eyes, Star Darlings." There was a collective gasp around the table. 11 glowing wish orbs were floating in the air in front of them. Libby stared at her orb longingly. It looked quite real, pulsing with gorgeous golden light. But was it just an illusion? She looked at her fellow Star Darlings. Each girl was staring at her wish orb, wondering if it was about to disappear. One by one, Scarlet's, Gemma's, Tessa's, Leona's, and Vega's faces crumbled as their orbs disappeared. Cassie let out a gasp, perhaps of relief, as hers vanished. Libby stared at her orb, then stole a quick glance around the table. All the others were gone. She started breathing again. "It's Libby!" cried Sage. "Good for you." Lady Stella walked over and placed her hands on Libby's shoulders. "The wish orb has chosen." She peered down at Libby, a gentle smile on her face, "and I think it has chosen wisely. I have a good feeling about this, Libby." Libby's mouth felt dry. "Thank you," she barely managed to whisper. She pushed her seat back from the table and stood up. Lady Stella burst into laughter, pointing to Libby's feet. "I'm guessing you were in a big rush to get here?" she asked. Libby nodded and looked down. She was wearing her fluffy bedroom slippers. The Star Darlings roared with laughter. It was because it was so funny to see ladylike Libby wearing silly slippers in public. Or were they mostly letting off steam after the last tense few Starmans? Libby wasn't sure, but after a moment, she joined in on the laughter too. Long after the girls had left to get ready for bed, Libby returned to the Little Dipper dormitory, yawning a jaw-cracking yawn as she shuffled down in her slippers. She had stayed behind for final lessons on alphabet picking and shooting star writing, and had received some last Starman Wisher identification tips. Son of a... Okay. The campus was still and empty, and she watched as lights began to turn off in the dorm, which loomed ahead of her. Libby looked up to see a clear sky full of stars. She bent her head back and took it all in. It was so amazing that someone as small as she, in the grand scheme of the world, was about to embark on such a huge adventure. Her star zap began to ring. She pulled it out of her star-shaped pocket to see it was her parents again. Her parents popped up in the darkness ahead of her, wearing silk bathrobes. Her mother's hands were placed in matching anti-aging pods, as they were every night before she went to bed. "Hi," Libby said. "Hi, sweetheart," they said in unison. Her mother peered at her. "What are you doing outside?" she asked. "Shouldn't you be getting ready for bed?" Shouldn't you be getting ready for bed?" her father asked. I was studying late," Libby said. It was technically the truth. "Well, it's time to get ready for bed," said her mother. "Listen, we just wanted to see if you had changed your mind about the vacation. There's still time." Libby sighed. "I'm sorry, I haven't." Her mother sighed as well. All right, we'll figure it out somehow. So anything exciting happen today, Star Sweetie?" her father asked. Libby almost laughed. Anything exciting? Only the most thrilling thing in the history of Starland was all. She scoured her mind for some bit information to share. "Well, I, tried out for a rock band," she said. "I played the guitar." "Oh, that's fun," said her father. "Good luck." "I hope you make it. All of those years of classical piano lessons will finally pay off." "Oh my God." "Thanks," Libby said. She was suddenly seized with an odd feeling, a mixture of longing, excitement, and a little bit of fear. Part of her wanted to hop onto a star car, head to Radiant Hills, and have her parents tuck her into bed. The other was thrilled to be setting off on an unknown, mysterious, top-secret adventure. "Mommy and Daddy?" she said. "Yes." Her parents perked up. Libby never called them Mommy and Daddy anymore. Good. "I miss you," she said. She had a sudden idea. "I know I'm going to find out a way to combine the vacations. Maybe I can do some volunteering on Glamora Aura, and maybe Aunt Kit could come along too." Her parents smiled widely, looking both relieved and happy. "That would be lovely, Libby," her mother said gently. "Really lovely," her father added. Libby stopped under a lamppost outside the Little Dipper dormitory door. "Good night," she said softly. "Good night, Star Sweetie," her parents said together. It had been really difficult to talk to her parents and not share the exciting, world-changing thing she was about to do. But she still felt better just seeing them and hearing their voices. The cosmic transporter dropped her off at her door, and she gently placed her hand on the scanner. "Good evening, Libby," the voice said in the hushed tones reserved for after-dark hours. She walked into the unlit room. Gemma was already asleep, and the starry curtain that divided the room was drawn. Libby got undressed and rooted around in her drawers to find her favorite old pair of pajamas. They were a little snug, and her ankles and wrists stuck out, but they were warm and cozy and reminded her of home. Vaguely comforted, she nestled between the covers and drifted off to sleep. Okay, so that was chapter 5. Next video will be chapter 6. I'm actually going to try and finish the book today, but it is going to take me a while. So I will see you guys later.